And now we are joined by Illinois head coach John Groce. The Illini are 10-5 overall and 0-2 in Big Ten play. Illinois will host Maryland on Wednesday before traveling to Nebraska on Sunday. Coach Groce, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Please provide a few opening comments, and then we'll go ahead and open it for questions.
Sure. Obviously, we're looking forward to getting back home, playing here at home on Wednesday night. I thought during the first two games of Big Ten play, we either played really, really well during stretches or we played awful. And you can't be that inconsistent in this league, or that's going to be a recipe that's not going to work. I thought that from the 16-minute mark on in the game, left in the game on Saturday, maybe about as bad as we've played all season. We turned the ball over. Our defense obviously wasn't very effective, giving up 60% for the first time in our 3 years here, and we just didn't play very well. Certainly Ohio State had a lot to do with that. I thought in the first one against Michigan on the road as well, I thought we played really well for about 29 minutes, and then, our defense wasn't very good there either down the stretch. And, if you don't take care of the ball and defend to a certain level, in this league after being in it for, now 7 years, including a stint as an assistant, that's not going to work. So, we've got to get better, really taking care of the basketball, something we've been good at all year. 20 the other day was very uncharacteristic. Our guys know that we've got to take better care of the basketball and we've got to defend better. Questions?
Thanks, Coach. Let's go straight to questions, Darla.
Your first question comes from the line of Rob McCauley with the Illini Report.
Morning, John.
Morning, Rob. How you doing?
I'm a little stiff.
That's what I heard.
I want to talk about year 3 as a concept because I'm looking at the record book and I see that Lon Kruger had his worst year in year 3. Lou Henson had his worst year in year 3. Arguably, Bill Self did too. So just in general, what is it about the third year of program building, class balance, whatever, that makes it challenging? Yeah,
I don't know, Rob. That's interesting. I think that's pretty insightful. I don't know. I heard, Urban Meyer say the other day after the national semifinal that he thought this year might be a void year. I don't know if I thought, from that standpoint that I thought that. I thought last year I kind of knew when I took the job that we were going to be very new and young in our second year, and we were going to be a work in progress. And all of us as coaches, we want to be, we tend to be impatient and want things now. But for year 3, I don't know. I don't know what that common denominator would be. Whether that just happens to be, a pattern, or whether it just happens to be an outlier for us, kind of in our program's development and growth. I do think we can play better than we're playing right now. I do think we have a lot of veteran guys, but we have got to connect the dots. We got to be more connected than what we are right now as a group at both ends of the floor. But that's interesting. I would not have known that had you not stated that.
Yeah. Does it make you feel any better to know that?
Not really.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yeah, sure.
Your next question comes from the line of Marcus Jackson with the Champaign News.
Morning, John.
Good morning, Marcus.
Just the fact that you guys haven't played well in stretches, and you said Saturday was maybe the worst that you guys had played for that particular point in time. You still feel like that there's enough out there where your goals going into the season, you're still optimistic that you guys can hit those?
Oh, sure. It's still early. I mean, there's no question about that. But we got to play better. I mean, we'd be foolish to think that 20 turnovers and 60% from the field is going to get the job done. That's not going to happen. So, we've got to play better. We just got to play better than what we're playing right now. We need individual guys to play better. We need our team concepts at both ends collectively as when we have 5 guys out there as a unit to be better. Our execution needs to be better. We're not real good right now. We weren't very good in the second half the other day, and that's certainly, it's the, what have you done for me lately? And that's our last sample size, so to speak, is the last 16 minutes of the game the other day, and we didn't play very good.
Your next question comes from the line of Shannon Ryan with Chicago Tribune. Shannon, your line is open. Okay, we'll move on to Don Marcus with the Baltimore Sun.
Yes, Coach. I assume that you watched tape over the summer of Maryland as they did of all the Big Ten teams. Can you see a difference, or what difference do you see, obviously, between what you saw over the summer and watching tape and what you're seeing now watching in preparation?
Yeah, I did not watch tape over the summer. We put some edits and different things together. But not necessarily like, analysis of, we go one game at a time here is kind of what we've done. We've always done that for 7 years. We have an idea of their style of play. I had someone present that this summer, obviously, and do a quote-unquote scouting report on them from my staff. My staff breaks up the teams, and they tell me, style of play and personnel, and they go through it thoroughly with me. But for myself, my first opportunity to really get to dive into them has been in the last 24 to 48 hours. And I'm impressed. I mean, I think they, the fact they're playing that many guys and have weathered a couple injuries and still look like they've really connected the dots. They look like they have embraced their roles and play together and, take pride in their roles, and no one looks unhappy out there. They obviously are really, really good defensively. I think the thing that might be the most impressive is, you go through stretches as a team maybe where you don't make shots all the time. And you look at their Big Ten stats in the first two games, and, offensively they've been really, really good all year. They just had maybe a couple games here where they entered Big Ten play where they didn't make some shots. That happens to all of us. But they found ways to win because of their defense and their rebounding and their togetherness. And, I'm very impressed with them, watching them as a team. I really like their team.
Thank you.
Sure.
Your next question comes from the line of Shannon Ryan with the Chicago Tribune.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, good. You mentioned the 20 turnovers a couple times and how that's so uncharacteristic for you guys, and it seemed to be all across the board. When you went back and looked at it, was it just carelessness? Was it more what Ohio State was doing? How do you kind of view what the problem was there?
I would say it was 60% unforced and carelessness and sloppiness and 40% Ohio State, in my opinion.
And when you, with it being so many guys contributing to that, what was your, what was your message about cleaning that up? How do you address it with the team?
Told them to man up and take care of the ball. I mean, that's what they've done all year. That's what we've done for 3 years, and can't do that. I thought that we just were really sloppy. You got to focus and concentrate, and you got to do your job, and you got to take care of the basketball.
We've got time for one more question from the media, Darla.
Your final question comes from the line of Seth Gruen with Chicago Sun-Times.
Hi, John. Obviously, you haven't hid from the way you guys performed at Ohio State. I'm wondering if you could have seen that coming in practice.
No, not at all. We practiced really, really well and got off to a great start in the game and had a 3-point lead with 16 minutes to go, on the road. In a good environment. So that had nothing whatsoever to do with it. I thought we practiced really well 2 days in a row, and thought we had good energy, thought we were fresh, thought we had good morale. We just didn't execute very well. Our execution was really poor.
Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next coach on the teleconference is Maryland's Mark Turgeon. The Terrapins are 14-1 on the season, 2-0 in Big Ten play, and are ranked number 12 in the latest AP poll. Maryland will travel to Illinois on Wednesday before playing at Purdue on Saturday. Coach Turgeon, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing very well. If you could just give us a brief opening statement, we'll then go ahead and open it for questions.
Obviously we're looking forward to this week. It's a tough week for us. We're at Illinois and at Purdue, and it's a big week, obviously, when you have 2 road games, but we're looking forward to it, looking forward to the challenge, and just hope we can get better and improve this week, which is really what we're concentrating on right now.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go straight to questions, please, Darla.
Your first question comes from the line of Roman Stubbs with the Washington Post.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Roman.
Do you have an update on Evan and just kind of where he's at physically and kind of just how he's fared, I guess, through the first 2 Big Ten games in particular.
Yeah, I think his foot is fine. No pain there. I think he's still getting in shape. Getting his rhythm down is really where we are. Gets a little bit better every game. I think he's played well. I thought he really helped us in the Michigan State game. Got in foul trouble and eventually fouled out. But I thought defensively and rebounding he helped us. Of course, he had a big 3 in that game too. So he's coming. He's been there. He's done it. He's played a lot of big minutes. So, the sooner he can get back to the old Evan, I think the better team will be.
Your next question comes from the line of Don Marcus with the Baltimore Sun.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Don.
Can you tell if there's any difference with you guys as your, as you got into the rankings, as the rankings have gone up, it appears that you guys will be in the top 10 this week, and just the way they react to the, in practice and then, in the games. You said you were a little nervous on Saturday, but can you get a sense from them that as their stature has gone up, that they are putting more pressure on themselves or anything like that?
I don't think so yet. It's still early. When we talk about it a lot, I thought Minnesota played a little bit looser than we did in the first half, especially ending the half. And I said, guys, we're a game and a half into the Big Ten Conference. We got to relax a little bit and just play. And so we talked about that. And I said, there's a lot of basketball ahead of us. We don't ever talk about the ranking, to be honest with you. The only time we mention it is just comes a responsibility with it. We have so many new players. It's a good dynamic. I mean, we have some older players that have been through the wars, and then we have young guys that don't know really what's going on. So we're just kind of playing and trying to get better. We know because there's a number in front of our name, we're getting everybody's best shot. We understand that, but we're just trying to get better, Don. I mean, we really are, and I think our guys are kind of buying into that.
And just to follow up, I mean, you obviously have had some teams that have started this well, even better, and a couple of the older guys who were on the team a couple of years ago. Is there a message that you have to get out to guys that this is a long season, and just because we're at 14-1 doesn't mean anything, or do you think that they understand that already?
Well, we talk about it a lot, and we talk about getting better and talk about, the good things that we've done, and we're positive and confident because of it. But, I think we just try to, it's the old cliche. I think we just approach one game at a time. I thought we were a little bit too excited after the Michigan State game because of how we won. And I think it carried over a little bit into practice. We didn't practice as well going into Minnesota, and I told the guys that after the game, that we have to practice better next week with 2 road games coming up. So, we'll see. But kids will be kids, but they're resilient and they bounce back from whatever happens. So we're just trying to get better, Don, every day, and we keep sending the message that we're not there yet, and we have a heck of a league obviously ahead of us, and 2 road games this week, so that kind of gets your attention pretty quickly.
Thanks.
Yep.
Your next question comes from the line of Daniel Martin with Comcast Sportsnet.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Daniel. How you doing?
Good, thanks. As far as Jake goes, he only took those 4 shots against Michigan State and only had a couple until down the stretch there against Minnesota to kind of close it out. Do you find yourself having to sort of remind him to stay aggressive, or do you see those peaks kind of come naturally to him where he's kind of seeing the point at which he's got to be more aggressive, especially now with Des back?
Well, I think, I thought he did great Saturday. I thought he, chose when to shoot the right shots. Teams are guarding us a little bit differently since we got in the league. It's changed a few things. I thought we were better against that the defense on Saturday than we were against Michigan State. I think we'll continue to improve on that. We're a very balanced team. Jake knows that. Some nights will be different than others, but the thing I like the most is how efficient he was in the game on Saturday, and that's really what's important. And he took good game shots, took good shots and things that were going to help us be successful.
Coach, we appreciate your time this morning. We'll talk to you next week.
Great. All right. Take care.
Thank you.